Welcome to Somaliathlete. We got Ramla Ali with us. So
Yeah,
Ramla.
you say Ali the Adan way though.
Okay,
She was given a spot to represent Somalia at the Olympics for Taekwondo. In order for her to go, Somalia needed to reply to an email, but because of incompetency, nobody replied. Tell me. And then I found out because a friend saw my name listed on the Olympic website. And she's like, "Oh, you're going to the Olympics, congrats." And I didn't even know. I then had to send an email to them to say, "Hey, am I going?" And they were like, "Oh, yeah, you're going." The whole Olympic cycle, they haven't paid for anything. I paid for everything. There are a lot of athletes in the world who are Somali and purposely choose not to represent Somalia. He's amazing, like Mo Farah, Bashir Abdi from the Netherlands, Mohammed Ahmed from Canada. Like they constantly win medals, gold, silvers, bronze, all the time. Can you imagine if they were representing Somalia, how amazing that would be? I've done a lot of firsts. As scary as me doing all those firsts in my life, I need to be the first to do this, to say something and to, inshallah, create a better future for athletes, not only in Somalia, but all around the world.
معوينا كفاية دوتي ما الله نحن كاس كلام كل أولاد لا يماهن وجنا كورني قاضي والمهنة كرو قاضي ونرشنا كرو قاضي وأريجاس كلها الله Somaliathlete كورني قاضي ما تقاني تينا كورني قاضي أولوي ودوبي on top إنكو جارتي كران ما تروح تمركز Somali on top إن جارتي كران مش عرفتين إن جارتي كران Somaliathlete يا واحد كسين كديسي كران شبلازة
Welcome to Somaliathlete. We got Ramla Ali with us. So
Ramla. You say Ali the Adan way though.
Okay, Ramla Ali. No? Ramla Ali.
Because they all say Ali because you know what, people think I'm like related to Muhammad Ali, and I just go with it. Like, yeah. Because then it means more people will want to come and watch you. Does that make sense? And the more people that want to come watch you, the more eyes there is on female boxing, which is great. So whenever they ask, I'm just like, yeah, that's me.
Somali female superhero. That's what I like to call her. You get me? Like first athlete that's a non-runner representing Somalia.
Yeah, like there's also like other women out there, not boxing, but like they're doing their thing. You know, Munira, who does Taekwondo. Do you follow her?
Yes.
Yeah. She's sick. She was actually meant to come to Tokyo with us, but the federation, excuse my language, fucked her. But
what happened? Yeah, what happened? No, but what happened? Because she kind of went like quiet on us.
I know, Maskin. I feel so bad for her. So she was given a spot to represent Somalia at the Olympics for Taekwondo. She basically, the spot was, from my understanding, she hasn't really said much because she's like too afraid to say anything. But from my understanding, what I gathered from the story is that the spot was given to her, but in order for her to gain her spot, if that makes, like, it was given to her, but in order for her to go, Somalia needed to reply to an email, but because of incompetency, nobody replied. And then the spot that was allocated to her, because nobody replied from the her federation, the spot that was given to her then went to someone else.
So who was meant to reply? The Somali Olympic Committee?
Yes. Yes. So anything to do with the Olympics, it goes through the Olympic Committee. Anything outside of the Olympics, it goes through your like individual federations. So like boxing will have a federation, taekwondo will have a federation, football will have a federation, athletics, X, Y, and Z. So for her to have gone to the Olympics, the Olympic Committee should have replied, but they didn't.
In Tokyo, obviously through a pandemic. How was that like?
So being in Tokyo was not like how I imagined.
Okay.
You know, like in previous Olympics, you'd watch and then you'd see how amazing it is and all these cultures, and you get to go outside and interact with like the locals, and you get to meet different athletes, and none of that happened in Tokyo because they were going through like their 5th state of emergency. So literally the whole country was in lockdown, and we weren't allowed to leave the village. So we were basically quarantined in a village. We were like in this like it's like a little town, basically like a little city, and we had to stay in there. We weren't allowed to leave. We weren't allowed to interact with other athletes. We weren't, like, meal times were kind of set meal times, so that they'd ask you not to go when it's like the most busiest, and it's like everything is like glass in front of you, glass to the side. So if you're trying to like have conversation with other people, you can't. So you're literally just eating by yourself, like signing stuff to like
through
someone
glass.
opposite you or someone through the glass. But yeah, it was really strange. And like more than that, because me, I'm just a one-woman team in boxing, basically just me and my my husband and my coach, who it's literally just the two of us. So, you know, like you have these like big countries that go with like a team of 50, and like they can all train together and they can all like spar with each other, and I had none of that. My preparation was essentially sparring Richard in the car park of the building in the village.
That's crazy.
that was my preparation. But like, so I said to the Olympic Committee, I was like, I'd really like to bring my second coach. So, you know, the bald guy, Joby, that always does my corners in the pro fights. I was like, I'd really like to bring him. I'd love to bring my strength coach, and I'd love to bring my osteo. It's okay, like the money won't fall on you. I'll pay for all the costs. And they just said no. They were like, they refused. So
with a reason?
They didn't give me a reason, but I bet you their reasoning was, if I was seen to have come with a bigger team, the Olympic Committee might have said something like, where is the funding gone, or how something. I'm just guessing, so please don't quote me on that. That's just literally a guess. They didn't give me a reasoning. All they said was no. Basically. So I didn't have my osteo, I didn't have nobody to look after the injuries that I had basically for a really long time, which wasn't the best. And then five days before the start of the game, my husband was in hospital. So he had this like infection in his intestine, and it was like, I kid you not, it was like this big, and he was in hospital for 5 days on an antibiotic trip. So
in Tokyo.
I didn't have the basically, while we were meant to be getting ready, we weren't really getting ready because he was in hospital. And you know, if the Somali Olympic Committee allowed me to bring my second coach could have been the one preparing me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it was just a bit of a madness. Like I feel like the Somali Olympic Committee didn't give me much of a chance. Like if they gave me a bit of a chance, I feel like I could have done better than what I did.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like, even the other thing that's like has really annoyed me about them as well is like, they knew I was going for like months, at least 6 months, and they told me with 5 week with 5 weeks to go.
What did they tell you?
They said, oh, you're going to the Olympics with 5 weeks to go.
So I'm confused.
So basically, they knew I was going.
Yeah.
6 months, like 6 months before the start of the game.
Yeah.
They told me
5
weeks before
beforehand. Okay,
before the
you're
start of
going,
the game.
Ramla. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're actually, you know what? They didn't even tell me. I found out because a friend saw my name listed on the Olympic website. And she's like, oh, you're going to the Olympics, congrats. And I didn't even know. I then had to send an email to them to say, hey, am I going? And they were like, oh, yeah, you're going. So it's basically, they're not doing a very good job, if I'm being honest. They're getting all the money, all the funding that's going to them, they're just putting it in their pocket. I haven't seen a single penny. In the last the whole Olympic cycle, they haven't paid for anything. I paid for everything. And if I tell you how much money has come from my back pocket, I swear to God, you'll be pissed, you'll be shocked, you'll be angry. Do you know what? There are a lot of athletes in the world who are Somali and purposely choose not to represent Somalia, not because they're not proud of their country, because like every time I've spoken to a Somali athlete, like, because I get to meet them because of all the competitions that I do, they're so proud to be Somali, but they purposely choose not to represent Somalia because of just the lack of competency, the corruption, the fact that they don't get any funding. And it's such a shame because I feel like we could be such a powerful nation sports-wise. Like, I feel like, you know, a lot of people don't consider sports to be a huge thing, but I feel like sports can bring so many people together. Just look at, like, for example, me, when I was holding the flag at the opening ceremony at the Olympics, how nuts the whole country went. And can you imagine if, like, we had all these amazing, like Mo Farah, you know, Bashir Abdi from the Netherlands, Mohammed Ahmed from Canada, like they constantly win medals, gold, silvers, bronze, all the time. Can you imagine if they were representing Somalia, how amazing that would be? But I feel like they wouldn't do it because of just all the shit that goes on, which is really, it's really bad.
Okay, so before the Olympics, I saw like you had the conversation while you was over there with the president, Farmajo.
Yeah.
Like, how was that?
You know what? I really wanted to like say something, but you know, my Somali is so bad. And you know, when you're desperately trying to say something and it just doesn't come out the way you want it to. And I feel like he's such an amazing person, such an amazing president. He's trying to do so many good things for the country. And I feel like if I did tell him what was going on, he would have done something about it. But the fact that my Somali isn't that good, it just didn't do justice what I wanted to say. So I just kind of kept quiet about everything. But if I was to meet him, inshallah, in the future, I'd take like my brother with me or my mom or my dad to like fully translate everything. Well, not my mom and my dad because they only speak Somali, so that's a bad idea. But like, if I could take my brother with me, tell him everything I wanted to say in English, and then he could translate it in Somali, then I feel like a lot of change will happen.
Okay, so are you willing to take that responsibility of going to speak to him and making sure
I feel like someone has to.
Most definitely.
Like, because it's like I said, if we're in the future, inshallah, if we're put in a position where, you know, there's all these amazing athletes around the world choosing to represent Somalia, it's such an amazing thing. But it just takes one person to be brave enough to say something. And I feel like, you know, as scary as it is being like, I've done a lot of firsts, as scary as me doing all those firsts in my life, I need to be the first to do this, to say something and to, inshallah, create a better future for athletes not only in Somalia, but all around the world.
Definitely. Yeah, and we want to join you in that journey. We can do the dirty work and that. It's okay. So like,
No, it's been so good, like how vocal you have been in particular, or the Instagram page about all the corruption in the football. I was reading the open letter that athlete sent to
the
I think
federation.
it was it the federation, or was it like FIFA or something?
Yeah, it was to FIFA. Yeah, there was one to FIFA, there was one to federation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. So you know, it just needs, like, he was obviously brave enough to do it because he, you know, sort of thought about all the repercussions that would come to him. But he was brave enough to do it, so I need to be brave enough to do that as well.
Yeah, most definitely, because a lot of people, they fear losing their position or their opportunity that they have, so they might not speak. The people who need to speak.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't care. I'm a rebel. I'm a rebel. I don't care. Like, you can do whatever you want to me, and I guarantee, like, they can't do much anyways because of the name that I've built myself through all the years of hard work and stuff like that. I don't feel like they're in a position to do anything to me, because I'll just be vocal about that. Someone will see it and stop them from doing it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I don't care. They do whatever you want to me.
A Somali athlete right now that's working hard on their craft, and they're trying to one day represent their country. What would you say to that person?
Do you know what? It is hard. You'll get a lot of no's and a lot of can'ts, but I think those no's and those can'ts will either fuel you to keep going, or it will deter you to stop. And I feel like if you're passionate enough about your country, your sport, you'll just keep going. And I feel like that's what they need to do, just keep going, because there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Do you know what I mean? So you have to be brave, and you have to put yourself in situations that you're uncomfortable, because it's only when, you know, you're most uncomfortable is when you realize if you truly are passionate about something. So you just have to take that leap, I think.
Definitely. That's some good words. So I want to move forward to no problem. So the actual fight in the Olympics, can we talk about that? Like,
yeah, of course, yeah.
So like, obviously so it looked like obviously she was really good. I can hear you. You had. So what do you know of her before the fight?
I didn't know much of her. So there's a huge difference between amateur boxing and professional boxing. You know, a lot of people will just be like, oh, well, you're a professional. Oh, yeah, you'll roll right through it. But like with professional boxing, you have more rounds, and you want to sort of use the longer rounds to, you know, you don't go like full steam ahead from round one, because you need to preserve the energy for like the rounds that are to come, and you need to use the earlier rounds to sort of know what your opponent is about, fill them out, break them down. With amateur boxing, it's very like full steam ahead from the get-go. You've only got 3 rounds, and it's like so like she, you know, yes, she was very good. She obviously knew that she was going to the Olympics from a while back. She's been preparing in the amateur style for a long time before the Olympics. Like, it was just like I said, like, they only gave me 5 weeks notice, and before that I just had a fight in Las Vegas over 6 rounds, so double the rounds that there are at the Olympics. And I had to, in 5 weeks, I had to sort of shift from being a professional boxer going back to an amateur boxer. And in my opinion, 5 weeks just isn't enough. And I think the one thing that threw me off in the fight was the pace, because that is not the same pace when you're doing professional boxing. And also, you know, the lack of preparation that I had. You know, my husband was in hospital, I couldn't train properly, and, you know, I'm not, none of this is like excuses.
Yeah, but it adds up.
He was it all adds up. Yes, she was a very deserved winner. So she won fair and square. Like, I'm not saying, I was robbed, this and that. She's a very deserved winner. But I feel like if I was given the full preparation, you know, everything, I do believe that I could beat her. But everything was stacked up against me, and it just wasn't my night. It was her moment. It wasn't my night. And I also believe that, you know, when people say like Alhamdulillah khair, like everything happens for a reason. I always believe that everything happens for a reason. You know, I do want to go to Paris, the next Olympics, and sort of right the wrongs as a boxer that you know, I had, or I did in Tokyo. But I don't know, like, I just want a lot of things to change within the Somali Olympic Committee and the Somali Boxing Federation if I'm to consider doing that again.
Okay. Are you willing to like take a trip to Somalia to go touch the ground, go speak to the people?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I would love to, but I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like because I have too much of a profile, I'll be more of like a target.
Nah, don't worry. We'll have the gunman with and them ready to ride out.
I need to wear like a
the niqab.
Yeah, so nobody knows who I am. But I would like, you know, I've been invited twice now by senior politicians in Somalia. So if I'm to go, I'd need to go at a time where I know that they will take care of me. I would love to go back because I still have so much family there. And I literally, I was born there and I haven't been back since. So it's been like quite a while. But yeah, I would love to go back, talk to the president, see what all the changes that can happen, and yeah, take it from there.
Inshallah, that sounds very good.
Inshallah.
Okay, so now I want to move forward to your last fight.
Yeah.
So your last fight was also 4 rounds. You wasn't happy with.
So I was not happy with that. So I I was training for an 8-rounder because, you know, like as a boxer, all you want to do is constantly improve. I had done 3 professional fights at 6 rounds, and you know, there's no point like continually doing 6. You want to sort of challenge yourself. You want to see, you know, and also more than that, like 8 rounds get you closer to 10 rounds, and 10 rounds is when you can fight for titles.
Yeah.
So you don't really want to be taking a step back. You only want to be taking a step forward. So literally on fight week, I was told that the New York State Athletic Commission has only sanctioned me for 4 rounds. And I kid you not, I was not going to compete. I was like, I'm not fighting. But my husband and my other 2 coaches, they convinced me to compete. They were like, you know what? Yeah, like they were like, you know what, you trained hard. It doesn't matter if it's 4 rounds, just do it. Because even then, like if I didn't do the 4 rounds, then the next fight I would have would be in 2022, and that's just too far. Too far in the future. And I trained like so hard for a good block that they were just like, you know, you should just go and fight.
So looking back, have you watched the fight back?
No, I refuse. I tell you why. 4 rounds reminded me of the pace of an amateur fight. You don't have the luxury to, you know, fill your opponent out. You don't have the luxury to break them down. You don't have the luxury to try different things in the fight. Like I wasn't able to do anything that we practiced in training, like in my 8 to 10 week block training. I didn't have the opportunity to pull off anything that we practiced because it was such a fight. Like it literally reminded me too much of amateur boxing. Like, oh my God, you've got to win this round, because 4 rounds, you only have 4 rounds. If you lose 1, or maybe if you lose 2, you have 2 rounds to pick it up. Whereas if you've got 8 rounds, if you lose 2, that's calm.
So you're gonna watch the fight before the next fight?
No. I refuse.
Fair enough.
Now, I read like some commentary to say that I was over anxious in the first round. Like I was too enthusiastic.
There's one time you
in the
jumped
first
on it. There's one time you jumped on it.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing. Like I didn't want to do that. I wanted to, you know, show a different side to, because me, I'm like a boxer that uses footwork a lot. And I wanted to show a different side to me that I could, you know, sometimes work on the inside. And for me, I felt like I couldn't, because it was just 4 rounds and I didn't have the luxury to lose a round, basically.
So what would you say as a boxer? What would you say like is like your strengths and your weaknesses?
For me as a boxer, my strengths, I believe, are my footwork and my jabs.
Yeah.
And I feel like my weaknesses is sort of, I think, fighting on the inside. But that's the thing, we worked so much on fighting on the inside that's what I wanted to do. Like I wanted to show that I could do that for like a couple rounds. And even if, you know, I lost those rounds, it didn't matter, because I had
enough time.
I thought I would have 6 other rounds to, you know, to win. But in 4 rounds, you don't have the luxury to lose 1 round or 2 rounds.
Yeah.
You're just thinking, oh God, I've got to win this round. I've got to win this round. Which isn't the best.
See, now you've got a machine behind you, like matchroom boxing, 258. So obviously you're kind of.
No, so I'm not with 258 anymore.
Okay.
So basically, my husband just now manages me.
Makes sense.
He's the full shebang. He's my coach. He's my manager. But the thing is like he's the one person. Yeah, like he's the one person that knows what's best for me. You know, he doesn't want me to oversaturate my image. Like anything that comes in, he won't just say, oh yeah, jump on it and do it, because eventually over time, nobody would believe you. For example, if I think like a couple years ago, I was sort of, you know, told to like, sort of, you know, like, okay, the way I explain, you know, influencers.
Yeah.
Every other week they're pushing something.
Yeah.
Pushing, like I don't believe anything they sell, because how can you think everything is amazing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like for me, he knows all the things that I believe in, and he doesn't want to oversaturate my image, and he'll only get me to sort of work with brands that I believe in and things that I believe in, because at least then people will actually believe what I'm saying and what I'm talking about, and you know, what I'm trying to push, if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. Okay. No, like I want to, so now you brought up your husband, I want to speak about that. So I was listening to your book. I have it on audiobook. If you don't have it, download it. It's really nice. Like it's like a autobiography.
It's not an autobiography.
It's
so like do you know what? It's more like a self-help book with biographical elements.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like I had to sort of give my own personal examples.
Oh yeah.
And then I think that's why people then think it's like an autobiography, but it's not. Like inshallah, when I retire from boxing, I'm gonna write an autobiography.
Okay. So what about part 2? We'll wait until you retire.
Yeah.
No, I think you could do another one in between or something.
No. Do you know what? When the book was when I wrote the book, it was during the time of the pandemic. Yeah. So I had a lot of free time, basically. Yeah. But like now that the pandemic has died down a little bit, I don't think I have
the time right now.
Enough free time anymore.
Well, you never know, things might change.
Because it's hard work. It took 9 months. Yeah. It was a long time. It's a long time.
I feel like everyone should go download it, especially if you're an athlete, even if you're from like the Muslim background or like from like even, you know, ethnic minorities. I feel like everyone can learn something, gain something. And like there are certain things that for me, I'm obviously a Somali man, but I connected with a lot of the stories. So,
did you feel like it helped you at all?
Definitely. I feel like one thing I learned about myself through your book was like the importance of like being a good loser, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a really bad loser.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are.
Yeah.
And you know, like on social media, like people only post their successes and their wins,
Definitely.
and like nobody ever posts their failures. And I think the one thing that I wanted to sort of make sure I spoke about was that it's okay to fail.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because everyone's going to fail at some point in their
something,
life.
yeah.
Literally everyone's going to fail at one point in their life, but you have to sort of embrace the failure, because it's only then will the success be more sweeter. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And even when you was going through those moments where you wanted to quit boxing, and the moments where like you felt like you had to pick people that you loved, or what you loved, or who you wanted to become. I've related to a lot of those. I feel like a lot of people would relate to in their own version.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of it is like the African household, isn't it? Your parents tell you what you should do, what you should be. You're not allowed to follow your dreams.
Yeah, my dreams is their dreams.
Exactly. No, you're not allowed to follow your dreams. You have to follow their dreams. And it's hard, because you know you trying to make them proud at the same time. You only have one life, so you need to live it to its full potential as much as possible. Definitely. So it's quite hard. Yeah.
Definitely. So I want to go back to your husband and that part of the book, and that you spoke so nicely about him and that. There's one of the tournaments you went out to, and the tournament never went your way.
And which one? There's loads.
So it's the one where he came and he flew out to you.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I felt like shitty. I felt like, because I would never do something like that.
You know what it was? This was when so obviously you've listened to it, or people have read it, but like for those that haven't, this was the time when I was representing England. So we went out to the European Championship, and the thing is like you go out as a team, but like you might be the first person to lose, but you've got to hang around because you've got to support the rest of the team. And like I lost on the very first day, bearing in mind this is a 10-day tournament. So you've got to be there for the next 10 days. And when you don't have any competitions coming up, it gets so boring. And I was getting really bored, and I was getting really homesick. And I told him I'm really bored and I'm really homesick. And he just flew out. And I remember that evening, one of the girls on the team helped me sneak out of the hotel to go see him. That was quite nice. Because everyone was so at this time we were married.
Yeah.
FYI. Before you think I was doing haram shit. So she helped me sneak out, and I went to go see him. And like in the morning, everyone was looking for me, and she was like, I'm covering for you. When are you back? Because I don't know how long I can cover for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was really cool of her.
Yeah, I just want to know that, like, I feel like you're lucky to have like a partner like that, like, because even putting your woman on the like on the front, and you being behind her, kind of supporting her, and that not a lot of men would be willing to play that role. Yeah,
no, a lot of men would be quite intimidated, don't you think?
Yeah,
they'll be intimidated by the woman's success, but definitely. Like he don't care. You know what? There's times where I'll go to like an event, a brand event or something, and you'll literally see him as I have to like do the red carpet stuff. You'll literally see him next to me holding my shoes because I can't walk in it.
That's and what I'm saying. That's crazy.
But like someone took a picture, and just I think at the time she was the editor-in-chief of Elle, and she posted about me and him. She's saying how amazing it is that a man is not intimidated by a woman's success, and he's literally there holding her shoes, making sure she has her moment to shine, and it's quite, it is cool, very, very cool.
Yeah, so appreciate what you have, you see me? No, because I feel like,
no, but also I feel
you don't
like
big up the good men.
Yeah, no, like a lot of men should take a leaf out of his book.
No,
I get a lot of hate online about him being Adam.
So when you say hate, like, what do you mean, like?
Hate.
Like, why you married a white man?
Yeah, like, is Somali man not good enough for you and stuff like that. But the thing is like, I didn't purposely go out looking for one.
Yeah.
Like, when people say can't help who you fall in love with, that was literally the case, because for me, I was never into Adam men. But like, he was very persistent. So.
No, but it's not even, like, for me, it's about character. White man, he reverted, mashallah. But like, how was that, like, kind of?
That was literally the only thing that was important for my mum. Knowing that he was, that's it. She didn't say anything else. That's the first question she asked me. She didn't say what race is he or whatever.
Mashallah.
That's it. When she met, I swear to you, she loved him. Every time he comes over, like he puts a smile on her face. She'll get up, make him dinner. It's a thing. It's a whole thing. Like, she proper loves him.
No, mashallah. He sounds like a proper bloke, mashallah.
Yeah.
But moving forward.
Swiftly moving forward.
For your next fight, what do you feel like you want to work on, like, regarding towards the next fight? I want to
do an 8 round.
Okay, we need to secure that first.
We need to get that in first.
Yeah.
I would like to show, obviously I can, box at range, at long range. Everybody knows that. But I'd love to show that I can do inside work as well. And I think that's a lot that we will work on in this camp. Inshallah, moving forward to the next fight, I hope, which is end of February, maybe March.
Okay, so in boxing, like, the fans and, like, even Eddie Hearn, when I was listening to him, he was saying, like, how they want to push you forward, but at the same time,
I do as well. I want to be pushed forward.
But at the same time, I feel like you don't want to be rushed.
100%. I was literally just about to get to that. There's loads of times where, I've done interviews to say that I don't want to be rushed. I want to go at my own time. There's too many times where people get pushed into having a world title fight too soon, which is fair enough. But then you have to remember, you've got to defend that title. And if you're not ready to defend, you've won it and then you've lost it straight away. And that's not me. When I win, inshallah, and I know I'm going to win, I want to be in a position where I'm ready. So when the time does come to defend, I'm ready to defend as well.
AJ, he lost his recent fight.
Yeah.
And he went to go America to see different coaches. Would that be something that you would entertain, that to train with different coaches and stuff?
Nope. No.
And the reason being?
I love basically, I've worked with my 2 coaches for a long time now, and I would never change them. I think we work well together. They know, like, jumping, like, a lot of people do that. A lot of people, they'll lose and then they'll immediately blame their coach. And that's not me. If I lose, it's on me, because I lost. I wasn't good enough on the day. It's got nothing to do with them. Like, a coach will always make sure that, like, nobody wants to lose. Like, coach will always make sure that you win and you're in the best position to win. And if you lose, that's something that's on you. And I don't think that anybody should ever put it on a coach. Because a coach is not going to go out of his or her way to make sure you lose. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
They'll always go out of their way to make sure you win. So I would never entertain the idea of having.
How long are you looking to have a boxing career?
Do you know what? I've done it for such a long time. Like, obviously, like, the first, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years was, like, under the radar.
Yeah.
And it's only now that it's in the spotlight, and people just think because it's only now that it's in the spotlight that I haven't been doing it for that long. But I've been doing it for a really long time. And like, I don't want to keep going for like, you know, you see these like boxers that all they do is just, they're too addicted to the game that they just want to keep going and going and going because, you know, they're really scared of what life will be like when they quit. But I've put so many things in place for myself now that when I do retire, there's so many things for me to do to keep myself busy with. You know, I've got the Sisters Club, I do the modeling thing. You know, there's loads of them. My husband set up a talent management agency. If I wanted to, you know, go in and help with that, like, there's so many things for me to do. I'm not going to be that person that just keep chasing, be like a 40-year-old, you know, fighting a 20-year-old. No, that's not me. So I know when I'm ready to, I know when I'll be ready to stop, and I won't like want to keep going after that because I don't see the point in that. And you know, I also want to have kids as well. And the thing is, I do what, like my mom, she's like, oh, when is it coming? When is it coming? And you're just like, oh, not yet. But the thing is like, you know, inshallah, when I do have kids, that's it. I don't want to have a kid then go back, because I feel like, you know, unless you have full-time help, I don't want to be, you know, someone that neglects their kids, basically. I want to be there for them full-time.
A lot of women, like obviously when they're getting older ages, a lot of women, I feel like they kind of panic to have children because they get more, like they're getting older and they feel like, do you have these thoughts?
No, like, you know, I always say what is written for you will happen for you, regardless of when in time it is. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, if Ilahi knows when, you know, I'm ready to have a kid and I'll get pregnant, inshallah. But this stuff doesn't worry me, because if it's written for me to have kids, it will happen for me. You know, I have a friend who has given birth at the age of 38, 40. She had her first child at 38 and her second child at 40. But it can happen anytime. Women just get scared. And I feel like, because I've been taking care of my body for such a long time, you know, I've never smoked, I've never done drugs, I've never done alcohol. You know, I've always had like at least 10 hours sleep a day. So I've alhamdulillah, I've taken care of my body. So I feel like I will be in a position to have a kid, inshallah, at any point in time.
How does your husband feel about it?
He knows what I want to achieve in boxing. You know, a lot for me. I had to sort of, because for such a long time my boxing was under the radar. I feel like I'm not where I need to be in boxing. You know, but he knows all the things that I want to achieve. He knows I want to be a world champion. He knows I want to win a couple belts as a world champion. He knows I want to do it in multiple weights as well. So he's just sort of letting me be me.
But he wants kids.
Yeah, of course he wants kids. But like he said, like he's always said, when the time is right, the time is right.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. He's a great guy. Who's influenced you throughout your life in a positive way?
In a positive way, I feel like, you know, this is really cheesy, but like I feel like my mum has, you know, she was always so strict on us, like so strict. Like we weren't even allowed to sleep at friends' houses because she didn't know what was going on. Like she was so strict, and I feel like this sort of strictness and discipline, like this sort of strictness she had on all of us, has made us so disciplined in everything. It made me disciplined in school. It made me disciplined in boxing. Like, you know, friends would say, hey, you know, let's go out, let's do something. And I'd be like, nah, sorry, I can't, because I got training in the morning. First of all, I was scared to go out because my mum will be like, she'll constantly be calling me at like 8 p.m. Not even like 11, 8. Where are you? Where are you? Where
the street light's gone.
At like 8 p.m. Like, mum, I'm an adult. But yeah, because of that fear, I feel like it's made me so disciplined. It's made me who I am today. It's made me the athlete that I am today. All the fear that she put in us, you know, I've never, like I said, I've never smoked, done drugs or had alcohol because I've been so scared of my mum.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of Somalis that do, and that's all right, because I'm not here to judge anyone. At the end of the day, it's between you and Allah. Like, I don't care. Like, do what you want. I'm not one of those Somalis that judges. But like for me, I never did any of that because I was so scared of my mum.
So.
And I'm glad she was strict on us, because it's made me the person I am today. And like even now, on like when I'm on shoots, modeling shoots, and they sort of try and make me wear certain things, I just keep thinking, oh my God, what would my mum think?
Say,
and then nah, I'm not doing that.
Right. You were saying how you felt, but your team felt like you shouldn't say that because it might not look good for the person who hasn't seen the fight yet.
Yeah, 100%. That's what Richard always says. But like, no, listen, I want to like make it clear. Like, no, I want to make it clear. Like, it was a good fight. It was a great fight, and you know, I dominated. I won every round unanimously. That first of all, that referee was half asleep. Like, I can't believe he put her hand up. He's like, what was going on? And I looked at him and I said, did you do this on purpose? And then I was like, can you put my hand up properly, please, for the picture? Like, God, I don't want like a half-assed picture. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it was a dominating performance, and it was a good performance. And you know, I beat a girl who's unbeaten. So you know, I can't complain. Like, the one thing that I was complaining about was the fact that I wasn't given the opportunity to do an 8-rounder. Like, a 4-round just felt too fast. It felt like I couldn't, you know, show what we'd been working on in the gym, and that's what I was disappointed with. Not my performance, because I thought my performance was good and it was dominating, but I wasn't given the opportunity to showcase what I'd been working on. That's what it was.
No, I understand.
It might have come across wrong in the interview, but that's what I meant.
No, I understand. So my question is like what's the balance between how you feel and how you want to be perceived, if that makes sense?
I don't care. I don't care what people...
But obviously you have a team who would care.
Of course. Like, they obviously care, but like for me, I always try and be as honest as possible. It's like I was saying earlier, like, people will only post their successes and never their failures. And like, I always try to be as honest as possible, because as humans, we do have days where we're low. We do have days where we feel like we didn't succeed. We do have days where we feel like we weren't enough. And if I have a bit of a platform on social media, and if I can show other, you know, young girls or other people going through the same thing, that it's okay to be honest about how you feel, then that's a good thing, you know? So for me, like, I don't care what people think of me. I just want to be honest, to show other people that it's okay to be honest too.
Olympics was the tracksuit incident. So what happened with the tracksuit?
Listen, the Olympic committee have, so every Olympic cycle is 4 years. Every Olympic cycle, they get given a funding, right? And in that funding, okay, forget that they didn't take me to competitions and whatever, and I wasn't allowed to bring my coaches. They didn't even give us team tracksuits or team kits. Like, me and Richard were the only two people walking around the village in jeans. Like, that's blasphemous. Nobody does that.
That's disgusting.
Nobody does that. It's disgusting.
Especially in the Olympics.
Especially in Tokyo, it was hot. It was so hot. And I think the day before the opening ceremony, this Japanese news channel kindly donated some tracksuits to us.
Are you serious?
I'm not joking. It was a news channel.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but you have to admit the tracksuits were sick.
Yeah, they were nice. No, but I just feel like...
Everyone was messaging me saying, where can I get one? But sorry. Do you know what? Listen to this, yeah? 4 boxes came, yeah, to the Somali Olympic Committee, 4 boxes. We only got given 1 tracksuit each. It's like it makes you think, what are you gonna do with the like they in? So I'm guessing of the 4 boxes collectively, there will be at least 100 tracksuits. Yeah. We got given 1 came to me, 1 went to Richard, and 1 went to the other boy. I forgot his name now. Hassan, that's it. 1 went to him. And then I was thinking to myself, what are you doing with all the tracksuits? Like, they're going to obviously take it back home to Somalia and try and sell it.
And these are the tracksuits that was given by the Tokyo newsletter company.
News channel, yeah. Like, it was meant for us, for the athletes, yeah? So we could have enough tracksuits where, you know, we could walk around in the village. We had 1 tracksuit each. It was nuts. And like, I was just thinking, what are you going to do with everything else? You're going to go back to Somali, you're going to sell it. Like, it's so bad.
Okay, so let's.
Oh my God! Hold on.
Go.
I want to tell you one other story. So in the when you're in the village, you get to everyone's getting exposed today, all right?
Yeah, let's go.
Everyone's
TMZ.
gonna get it. We got so in the Olympic village, you get given like as athletes, you get given loads of like gifts.
Yeah.
So we got given like a Samsung phone, some wireless earphones, you know, some Airbnb vouchers, things like that. And then the woman from I forgot her name now. The woman from the Olympic Committee said to me, "Oh, I don't have shoes for the opening ceremony." And then she was like, "You get given shoes as an athlete in the village. Can you come with me, collect your shoes, let me borrow it for the opening ceremony, and I'll give it back to you?" I was like, cool, say no more. So we went, I got my shoes fitted. They gave it to me shoes, and she was like, yeah, can I borrow it for the opening ceremony? And I was like, yeah, that's calm, no problem. Come opening ceremony, she weren't even wearing my shoes. She was wearing her own shoes. And I never saw that pair of shoes ever again.
You got hustled. You got hustled.
I got finessed. Oh my God, I believed her as well. It was nuts. Yeah, it was mad.
You got finessed. So no, on a serious note, yeah, this is like ridiculous. Like, it's not even like, you know, yeah, I've started Somali Athlete like June, July times, and the amount of stories, the amount of athletes, because you know what hasn't happened? There hasn't been a place where these athletes have been asked about the experiences with the national team and with the.
Do you know what it is? No, a lot of them are really scared. A lot of them are scared of the repercussions. Because like when I said to Munira, I said, why don't you be vocal about what happened? She's like, no, I don't want them to ruin my chances of going to Paris.
Yeah, and I respect it and I get it.
But I feel obviously, but the thing is, that's why I am vocal, because I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't.
But that's why things haven't changed. That's why things haven't changed, because the athletes.
Because everyone's too scared.
Yeah, everyone's thinking about.
That's why I'm vocal, because I don't care what happens to me. I just want the world to know what they're doing and what's going on with the athletes. If you remember, there was this one girl that fled Somalia. In search of a better life in the UK, so she could get better training because she wanted to be an athlete. Do you remember? And then she drowned.
Yeah.
That just goes to show the lengths that people will go to, because the country isn't providing her support. And it's such a shame, because I reckon she, with the correct support and the correct training and the correct funding, she would smash it. Like Somali runners are next to none in the world. They're like Kenyans and the Ethiopians. With the correct training, funding, they would smash it. But it's mad. Like, I would love to hear all the stories. Like the Hassan in Tokyo, he was like, the way he was getting treated, and you know, I respect him. He stood up, he was like, don't treat me like an idiot. I was like, wow, where did that come from? Because he was like this really sweet, shy, kind boy, and then I think someone said something to him and he was like, don't treat me like an idiot. And I was like, wow, I respect that. And it just goes to show, like, a lot of people have had enough, but they're it's like I said, that they're probably just too scared of the repercussions. It's a deal. Like I said, I don't care. I don't care of the repercussions. I just want change to happen.
Yeah.
And in order for change to happen, I need to be brave enough to speak out about it, and not be scared.
That you didn't like, who was a bad coach.
Yeah.
He touched you inappropriately.
Yeah.
In your book, and this is something
no,
obviously
it's really bad, because I was obviously I was an adult. I mean, I feel like I was 18, maybe 17, 18 at the time, but it just makes you question what these coaches do to young girls that are easily influenced, are not of age, and it's disgusting to think about. At the time, I remember thinking, is it my fault? Like, did I do something? And it's really sad, because it's probably the reason why a lot of victims, like, who have had serious crimes done to them, why they don't come forward, because they end up thinking it's their fault. But you have to just remember, it's never your fault. Like, you don't ask for it to happen. It doesn't matter if you're being friendly. Like, being friendly is not an invitation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
being friendly might just be your personality. Like, for me, I'm friendly constantly. I'm a person that, alhamdulillah, can make friends and make bonds quite easy, but that's not an invitation for you to do something that I'm not comfortable with. But yeah, it's probably a reason why a lot of women don't continue with sport, because shit like this happens constantly, and it's not good.
No, definitely. And obviously, like, I'm like, you're an athlete and I'm someone that's into sports, and like this has happened to the gymnastics team in the USA. That has happened to a lot of boys in the English football system. Like,
wow.
Yeah, so like there was a documentary on BBC Panorama, I think. So this is something that happens. Let's not pretend like it doesn't happen. This is something that happens. What do you think can be done, like, to, like, kind of, because as a father, if I want to take my daughter,
you don't know as well. Like, these people might even be CRB checked.
Yeah.
They might even pass the CRB.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's so hard to know. And I think as parents, you just have to be there with your kids, like, watch on the sidelines. You know how, like, in swimming, like, you parents can sit on the sideline watching their kids train. Like, I think that needs to happen in all sports. Like, parents need to be present watching their kids train. Yeah.
So I'm gonna give you some words, and like, I want you to say what comes to your head, like what they mean to you, etc., etc. Okay. Fear.
Well, you started with a tricky one, didn't you?
They're all tricky.
What comes? Fear, like, being scared to be. For me, fear is false evidence appearing real. Fear, FEAR. So it's just things that you create in your head that might never happen, basically.
Okay.
So,
Discipline.
Discipline is knowing when to say no to things, because you're working towards a goal and everything that you want to achieve, so you stay away from the things that will take you away from your goal.
Family,
the people that love you, and that the people that want to see you succeed and be your best self.
Islam,
the best religion in the world.
Woo! That's a good one. You don't say no more. Okay. Doubt.
Doubt is something that goes in your head and it stops you achieving your dreams. You always say to yourself, what if? What if is such a bad thing? Like, you should take that what if away from you, because it will stop you achieving your dreams.
Okay. Love
is finding your soulmate and living with them forever.
Regret
is regret is doing something that you wish you did. But then it goes back to fear. I mean, doubt, sorry. It goes back to doubt and fear, because the doubt and the fear play in your head, and it stops you doing something, which then in turn means that you regret that you didn't do it.
So we said they're cousins.
They're all related. Probably even brothers and sisters.
The director of Dior, you'll be sitting with Eddie Hearn. Then you'll be
it's
sitting.
Quite nice, because it puts you in places that you never thought. You know, I grew up on a council estate, and like growing up on a council estate, you only dream of things like this. Like if somebody said to you, "This is what's going to happen for you in the future," you'd laugh at them because you wouldn't believe it. So for me, it's nice being put in these spaces that I could only dream about, and like, you know, being put in rooms of like CEOs of companies or editors in chiefs of magazines means that what you talk about is then heard by these powerful by these powerful people, and you're able to sort of talk about all the things that are important to you, and it's listened to on a huge scale. So yeah, it's great. And you know me, I'm very opinionated, so having people listen to all my opinions is great.
Okay, so what would like your younger self like think of Ramla today?
Girl, you smashed it. No, I'm joking.
No, that's real though. That's real.
No, but just like, I think she'd be really proud that she, you know, with all the no's that was thrown at her in life and all the difficulties, like she overcome it to be in the position where she is today.
MashaAllah. What advice would you give your younger self, if you could, if that makes sense?
The advice I'd give is to never be afraid to be your own hero.
You see, you got the one-liners. Okay, so my last question is that how do you see yourself? How do you see Ramla? Because there's so many things, and you can put. But how do you see Ramla?
I just see myself as this woman person, just willing to stop at nothing to achieve everything that she told her younger self that she would achieve. Like, I'm doing this for the little me, basically.
Okay, that's it for my questions. Was it?
Lovely.
Thank you very much for giving me your time.
Thanks for having me, man. It's been dope, and I can't wait to see all the cute little edits that you're gonna post on Somaliathlete.
Inshallah. I want to hopefully drop one tonight before I go bed, and that hopefully, inshallah.
Inshallah. All right. Cool.
Thank you very much, Ramla.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye. Bye.
معوينا كفاية دوتي ما الله نحوك عاص كلام كل ولادنا يا معن وجنا كورني قاضي والمهنة كرو قاضي ونرشنا كرو قاضي وأريجاس كلها الله Somaliathlete كوري قاضي ما تقاني تينا كورني قاضي تقولوا ودوبي on top يكون جارتي كران ما تروح تمركز سومالي on top إن جارتي كران ماشي عرفتين إن جارتي كران
Somaliathlete
يا واحد كسين كديسي كران شبلان